Welcome to the Caber76 Nerd and Gamer Show. I just wanted to give a big shout out to everybody out there that has been checking out my videos. The numbers are starting to really kind of move up, and that's awesome. I couldn't be happier. So we're gonna get right into my week. I had a busy week. I was really working on that swtor double XP leveling, and I made this video up earlier in the week about my leveling and how I was going to try to separate my mains from my alts. Sounded great. It always sounds great in theory in my mind. But what ended up happening was I saw Doctor Strange 2. I'm not even going to go into that. And I kind of got involved with the multiverse angle in my head, and my alts spread from 2 to about 6. And I'm like, oh, I need multiple versions of Yarg. What would Yarg be if he wasn't a Sith assassin? Oh, he would be a commando. Yeah, he's gonna be a commando. So then making him a commando, and then Caber. I was like, well, if he wasn't a Jedi Knight, he would be an Imperial agent. And then all of a sudden, I have these multiverse characters. So, and I do it in ESO too. So I did a lot of double XP leveling. I really, really did. I powered them through. I've got a bunch on the other servers now. Hoping to join the Utini Guild eventually, because I've got characters on their server now. So hopefully I can join those guys because they're pretty awesome. I played a bit of ESO last night actually, with Ahmed and Beria and Khan, and we ran some dungeons. I worked on my vampire, and then I logged into my Nightblade, and we played that for a little bit. I really like Nightblade. Nightblade is really, really cool. I don't play it much. I feel like it's slow. Maybe it's a spec I took. I don't know why, but I'm gonna work with Ahmed and try to get a better spec. I feel like mine just doesn't. The spec I'm using isn't cutting it. I didn't really play much WoW. I'm hoping to do some classic tomorrow night with Fred McVan. I just haven't played much WoW. I kind of like the Zereth Mortis thing burned me out, and I just haven't touched it in a while. But anyway, let's get on to the question. So this week's question was, do you get obsessed with alting? So the first one comes from Enchanting Way and Enchanted One on Twitter. They wrote, oh boy, it might as well be a medical condition. And I'm laughing because Enchanting Way, I was laughing as I read that tweet. It's that whole term, altoholic, alcoholic. It's the parodies on YouTube, the different stories that people tell. It's I'd rather alt than go out. I'd rather do this than do that. I think Khan was talking about it tonight to me. He had mentioned something like, oh, when I ask you to play, I picture you at home saying, no, I'm busy, but you're making your 260th alt. So I guess that would put me in the medical condition field, because he's probably right. I think I was doing SOTOR double XP when he messaged me. But, it is what it is. It can be considered, an addiction, I guess. But it's your choice. It's still funny, and people will make fun of it, and it's just, it is what it is, So it's a good laugh. It's a good laugh for sure. So the next one comes from Emberia, who says, no, my alts are functional. They are created either out of a need of a certain class, or restrictive game content, or my own boredom. I would rather concentrate on one or two mains that I will be able to get the most gameplay experience out of by leveling and optimizing gear and learning to play well. I mean, that's the argument with being an alcoholic, because everybody will say, do you know your class? Do you know how to play your class? You have 7 of those classes. Doesn't mean you know how to play it. Do you have the best gear? No, I don't think you do, because you spend all your time leveling up alt, so you don't really have the best gear. So, I mean, I'm not a completionist. I don't really care about the game content. If I've done it once or twice on my main characters, I'm good. There's other times where I don't even want to do it because I just don't like going back and forth all the time. I do get bored and I make alts, and that's usually what happens to me. I will get really bored and I'll make more alts, and that's just how it goes sometimes, The next one comes from Console, at Console on Twitter. He says, no, I don't think I'm obsessed. I definitely like alts and have them in every game I play, but I don't think I obsess over them per se. I have called myself an altoholic, but that's just because I like alts. Yeah, that's true. You can call yourself an alcoholic just because you like having a few alts. That doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. I mean, I know from playing with you, I don't think you're obsessed with alts. You're more obsessed with leveling a character, but you're definitely not an alcoholic in the sense that I am. Like, if you're compared to me, I'll make just a range of characters, and you may not have as many as I do. But yeah, I don't think so much that everybody obsesses over them, so it makes sense that maybe you wouldn't obsess over them. Thank you, Khan. The next one comes from Ahmed Sumadai. I don't know. He says, not obsessed with my alts. They only exist to farm mats when necessary. Outside of that, they don't get much use. Some people do that. For sure, Ahmed, some people definitely use their alts as farmers. I've seen people even in Warcraft that run around, collect copper, collect flowers, collect whatever they need to make their main crafter better. I kind of do that every now and then, but I don't keep track of it that way. So I don't know if I would fit into that category very well. But yeah, again, I mean, you don't seem like you're obsessed either from what I know. Thank you. Next one comes from Shantyman Gaming at Shantyman Gaming. He says, I do sometimes get wrapped up in the joy of character creation. Oh, I love character creation. There's no way of getting around that. Although I'm not one of those people that can say that I spend hours on character creation, because I know some people will just be like, they have to, especially in games like Elder Scrolls or Star Wars Galaxies, like you could really have edited your character. Maybe not so much Galaxies, but there's games that have those sliders, and I know Elder Scrolls does. I know I think it's, what is it? Black Desert Online is very detailed. I could get lost in the character creations, and then the same thing with even WoW. Like WoW has a lot more now, and I'm making a new character. I just like constantly feel like I'm having to edit it and change it. So I definitely understand that, Shanty. I am the same way. So very cool, definitely very cool. The next one comes from Ziani at Pandaran for Life. She says, no, actually I prefer having one. I do have 3 characters, but never play them. They are all around 25-ish, and they just chill on my home screen. You know better than anybody, Ziani, that I would get annoyed with that. I don't like letting them sit on the home screen. I have to use them. I get where you're coming from though. You're new to the game. You want to try other classes out. And I do have this fantasy idea of having one character. That's what my latest video was about that I put up last week. I had this concept where I would have 1 or 2 characters. They would be my mains and they would be on a different server. And that's what I wanted to do. Of course, then I saw Doctor Strange and I alted out and made an alternate reality versions of my characters. So I give up. I'm just an alcoholic. It's just never going to change. And as much as I may want to play one, I've got Yard, Caver, and Athal, and I'll probably play them anyway. So, I wish I could do it. I can't. So, guess that's how it is. The next one comes from Charlie Plays WoW at Chiswick on Twitter. He says, at one point I was obsessed with alting. I had just finished BFA leveling content and was looking at older stuff and found out Legion had mounts tied to each class. Thus begun my journey of creating 11 more characters to run through class hall quests for mounts. Now I have only 2 or 3 characters at a time due to the energy it takes to keep several characters geared and worth playing in-game content with. WoW has come a long way making the game alt-friendly, but it still has a few large obstacles to cross before it's mostly painless. Yeah, definitely. They've come a long way, like you said, to make things more alt-friendly, and I feel like they're working on it. But when it comes to games like, if you compare SWTOR's reputation system with Warcraft's, SWTOR's is better. I mean, you have that reputation unlocked across the account, so you don't have to re-earn that reputation. And I feel like every reputation should be shared, because like, even with the bank, like the legacy bank or the legacy storage bank in SWTOR, it's shared with every character. The same with ESO, it's shared with every character. So why doesn't WoW have that? Like, it would just make things so much easier. And I'm a lot like you when it comes to playing 2 or 3 characters as mains. I have 3 mains, and I've said it before. those are the ones that I always try to keep somewhat geared and somewhat active. But I'm not the type of person to ignore the alts. I have to keep playing them. But I want to say BFA kind of ruined me with alting a little bit too, because I didn't like the system in BFA. But I haven't done all the mounts yet in Legion. So I haven't accomplished that one yet. And I see all your posts on Twitter, and you are like kicking ass when it comes to getting mounts. So good job, Charlie. The next one is kind of a reply to Charlie's comment. It comes from Corgi, Hound of the Internet, at SFF Corgi on Twitter. They said, that's why I finally rolled a Warlock, and look, here's this handy new race to use, Void Elf. Don't even get me started on the allied races, because the allied races created the mess in my head. When they made the allied races, I started going, well, I want one male and one female of each character. Oh, and now I got allied races, so I might as well do it. And you know, I wanted the Void Elf mage, so let me make a Void Elf mage. So I ended up doing the same thing. And that's kind of crafty how they did that. That's why I'm still kind of surprised that they didn't give us more character slots. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, if they just gave us more slots, we'd probably make more characters, and then we would be complaining that we're making too many characters. Well, I would. You guys probably wouldn't. But, you know. Anyway, cool. Thank you. The next one comes from Miss Raven Arlani fan at Cassandra Corbett. She says, I have at least 10 on every swtor server. Sometimes I get the bug to go and delete a bunch, but I've stuck with it enough to have a level 50 legacy on 4 of 5 servers, and a legendary status on 4 out of 5 too. I only have 11 on Tulak Horde, where I'm off to next, so expect that to run up. I mean, as I told you on YouTube, that is awesome. I totally respect that. I cheated. When I went to play on Shatil Shan, I moved a character off of my other server that I'm on. I'm blanking out on what the server is that I'm on, but I moved a character off of it, and the legacy moved over there with it. So I automatically got legacy 50 on both servers. I'm only on 2, but you know, I do too. Sometimes it's like I get obsessed and I want to do things. I have goals, and those goals need to be accomplished because I'm just very organized on how I play. And having these characters, now that I've progressed onto Cecile Sean, I want to put more characters on there, and I want to branch out more, and I want to level more, and I want to get 1 or 2 of them to max. I mean, the goal is going to be get them all to max, because that's usually how I work. But I get you. I totally understand that. And you have a goal. You're trying to get 5 of 5 on the legacy and get all those servers done. It makes sense. And I believe you can do it for sure. And I'm with you on that for sure. Do you get obsessed with alting? You already know the answer. I'm probably more obsessed with alting than anybody in my circle of people has ever seen. I will constantly make alts. I think about them all the time. I get stressed about them. I have to put them in spreadsheets. I have to make more. I have to delete them. I have to restore them. I have to get more character slots. I have to buy more accounts. I'm just crazy. I always say the word crazy, but I'm not. I'm not crazy. I have my style of play, and that doesn't make me crazy. That's just who I am and how I play. I get inspired by alts, and my obsession, it goes in so many different directions. Like, I could be playing SWTOR, and I see somebody with a Twi'lek Jedi Knight that is a green skin tone and has really cool clothes, and I'm like, I want one like that. And then I'll try to make one, come up with my own idea, and then all of a sudden I got this headcanon story. And the same in WoW and ESO, and even in Red Dead I try to do it. In Red Dead I can't because there's no, I have to make other profiles on my PlayStation or whatever. But I'm obsessed. I will think about them, having too many, making more, deleting, restoring, leveling, gearing. What do I do with them? Do I need them? Do I not need them? It's an obsession for me, and it does sometimes get kind of out of control, and I don't know what to do with it. And I come up with these concepts and these ideas, such as like what I did with the video earlier in the week. I started that video off on my vacation last week, and I said to myself, I'm gonna make my two mains on this server, and this is all I'm gonna keep my mains here, and they're gonna be my mains on this server, and everybody else is gonna be an alt. And it sounded great in logic, and all of a sudden I wanted more alts. I saw somebody playing with that character on that server, and I wanted more alts. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it on the other server. I want the achievement. I want to be able to say that I got this new gun for this character on this server, not on the other server where I have a ton of stuff. It's an obsession, I guess. It really is, and I'm very obsessed with it. But it's what I do. It's my hobby, and aren't we all obsessed with our hobbies, right? So anyway, I wanted to thank you all for reaching out this week and replying to my question and helping me with my videos and helping me with my show. It's been awesome. I'm having a great time, and I really feel like it's starting to kind of come around. I wish the podcast would pick up a little bit. I look at the numbers and it's kind of low, but hey, what is what it is. At least the YouTube stuff is starting to kind of pick up. So it's been really cool. And don't forget to like and subscribe because it always helps.